Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying this 31 days of Spooktacular. It's been fun doing it and I hope that you guys are enjoying some of these videos. If you haven't checked them out yet, they will be on a playlist at the end of this video. Stay tuned, you can just click and it will go into the other videos that I have for this series. So today we are going to talk about something kind of spooky, kind of mysterious. We are going to talk about the Men in Black. That's right, the real Men in Black. We're not talking about the Marvel comic or the movie that Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith were in, or the sequels, or whatever the hell that last thing was, the international one. I'm kind of bummed. It could have been a lot better. Are the Men in Black? Well, unless you have been a witness to an alien and you've spoken about it, you probably won't know. But Men in Black are supposed to be men who are dressed in black. I get that. Okay. They are dressed to the T's in very fine black suits, white shirts, black tie, usually have some sort of black fedora on, piercing blue eyes, seems to be bald and doesn't really have much of an expression. These men seem to be almost identical to one another, and they seem to appear after someone has witnessed a extraterrestrial event or UFO. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that every single person who has experienced an extraterrestrial event sees the Men in Black, because a lot of them keep quiet. However, the few amount of people who decide to open up their mouths and risk being labeled crazy or other things and have many things in their lives taken away from them, including community, home, support, and possibly even their own children, they speak about it at length in public. And those people seem to get visited by the Men in Black. Now, they don't have one of those little meters, where they go flash and we forget what happened. Well, at least I don't think they do. Could be something. Could be something that Marvel made up. I don't know. But seemingly, they come to people's houses, places of work, there are residents, even hotels, to try to talk to them about a huge event that happened. Usually, the people who witness the Men in Black or have actually had contact with them all say the same things. They say things like they appeared to be mannequin like, meaning they didn't think they were quite human and their skin wasn't quite hanging right. They had no hair, so that meant they had no eyelashes, eyebrows, hair on their scalp, or facial hair. And piercing blue eyes. And they seemed to be able to not only read your thoughts, but the thoughts of the other person with them, their partner. By the way, if you hear purring, it's my cat in black, Bowie. The Galaxy Defender. Just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. I know, that's terrible. I love him so much. So, one of the most interesting stories about the Men in Black actually happened to actor Dan Aykroyd. Now, if you guys don't know this, Dan Aykroyd is a paranormal enthusiast. And he was, if you hear anything in the background, my roommate is watching the Colts game, so. Dan Aykroyd is a paranormal enthusiast. So that means he believes in ghosts and goblins, and he likes the paranormal research. He likes to know what happens. He was supposed to have a television show for, I believe, Sci-Fi that was diving deep into aliens. One day when he was walking out, of his studio or his apartment. He was doing something for his job. He was on the phone with Britney Spears, and he swears he saw a Men in Black. Someone that was eyeing him and had eye contact with him that looked like a typical Men in Black person, dressed in black, bald, piercing blue eyes, and it's, according to Dan Aykroyd, it scared the bejesus out of him, and he could hardly finish his phone call. He was calling Britney Spears in order to ask her to come to Saturday Night Live to do a musical guest or some sort of spot. Um, After this conversation happened and he finished his call and he got the chills and got really freaked out, and I believe he even tried taking pictures, he went back into the studio and found out that all of a sudden his show had been canceled before it even taken off. And when I mean canceled, it was done right then. People were leaving, they were shredding documents, they were deleting things. So, this paranormal show that probably could have been really awesome, because, I love paranormal shows, with Dan Aykroyd, never got off the ground because of a Men in Black, maybe? It makes me wonder what Dan Aykroyd actually stumbled upon and what was going to be said in that program. Very creepy, but very interesting. I want to know. Yeah. Okay. Anywho, if you guys didn't know that Dan Aykroyd was a big enthusiast, obviously you don't know anything about the man. He just look at Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Anywho, so I've done some thinking about the Men in Black, and I feared, is this because you now have an entire genre of people who believe in the Men in Black? And if they were actually Men in Black, don't you think they would have changed things up and not become recognizable? Because these guys have been around since the 60s and 50s when the big phenomenon started happening. But what if they really aren't Men in Black? What if they have morphed into something different? And for this theory, I'm going to point towards my favorite Stephen King book, Hearts in Atlantis. Now, if you guys have seen the movie, okay, the movie is terrible. It only does just a tiny part of the story, even though what I'm going to speak about is part of that movie. It is just a small percentage of the book that is made into that movie, and it's literally one of my all-time favorite books. And the movie, I can't stand it because it's just a small little snippet of a much deeper, more beautiful story. In the first part, there is a young man named Bobby, his friend Carol, and I can't remember the other kid's name, but there's another friend involved. And Bobby, it befriends a man named Ted, who's an older man, probably in his 60s or 70s, that lives next door, and he kind of takes pity on him. After speaking to Ted, we find out that Ted is extremely psychic, and he has these fits where he goes into trances where he can hear things. He calls the people who he is hiding from low men in yellow coats. So this is what I think a new world Men in Black looks like. I think they are low men in yellow coats. They are people that would fit in anywhere. Even though they wear these yellow raincoats, they don't look as out of place as a Men in Black would. They do seem like a traditional version of the Men in Black. In the story, these men are described as having skin stretched over their face. So there's probably something underneath them, just like a Men in Black is discovered, or is just like a man in Black is described in our culture. One of the most interesting things about this whole situation is lost and wanted posters, especially when it comes to animals. This is a way for people to communicate with each other in this underground world of Men in Black or low men in yellow coats. And to this day, I still find myself looking at lost animal signs, lost and found signs, and wondering what they really mean. Instead of having Men in Black come to people, you had these men in yellow coats coming to people and speaking to them. So it makes me wonder if Stephen King really has tapped into something, or if this is something completely different. Because these low men in yellow coats appear many times in his stories, including The Dark Towers. So it just makes me wonder if they are looking for people who are special and psychic, or are they looking for people who have had paranormal experiences and they need to be silenced? Because that's what the Men in Black want, your silence. They don't want people to have their stories out there. They don't want people to cause havoc and worry and wonder about UFOs. They don't want people spreading that information. Why would they stop that sort of thing? Well, mass hysteria, for one thing. And the other thing is, it may not be alien tech at all, but something that our own government is doing that people have witnessed and they need to keep quiet about, because it could be a very dangerous situation for all involved. Me, on the other hand, I was completely convinced in fifth grade that every member of my family had been changed and they weren't really my family. That wasn't my mom in the kitchen. That was an alien. That wasn't my brother. That was an alien. That sure as heck wasn't my dad. That was an alien. I believed my family had been switched with alien bodies because something changed. I mean, there's 100 different explanations for that. But it only lasted for a few days, and then my parents' brother seemed fine again. Maybe I was the one that had changed. Maybe I was the one that had their eyes open for the first time and seeing that paranormal and alien beings are actually around us all the time. Or maybe I'm having a psychotic breakdown. Either way, what fun. So, what do you guys think? Do you think the Men in Black are real? Do you think the low man and yellow coats are a modern version of what the Men in Black are supposed to be? Do you believe in the paranormal and believe that aliens are real? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear, because I'm fascinated by this world. And I'm fascinated to know that there can't just be us here. We'd be very vain to believe in this vast universe that we know nothing about, that we're the only ones. How silly, how vain. What an adventure would it be to see what else is out there? The truth is out there. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy this video, enjoy this series. Don't forget to check out the playlist. And thank you to Melissa Blue Delish for doing your beautiful, beautiful jewelry. I absolutely adore it. There you go. And I got the ears from her too. And I will put a link in the description for how you can purchase Hearts in Atlantis. And don't forget, I am booking readings. That is right. This is the best time of year to get readings. And if you mention that you heard me advertise readings in this video about Men in Black, you will get an extra special surprise for your reading. All right. You can DM me here or go to www.lisatbrink.com. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.